So the AUGI Annual General Meeting 2024 will now come to order. It's 2:02 Central. Today here's the agenda for today. We have our special guest, uh, Kim, former AUGI president and an Autodesk member, going to be the guest presenter. And then we're going to have Frank Mayfield go over introductions of our AUGI, of the AUGI team. Todd Rogers will be going over financials reviews and AUGI World Review. Christina will be doing some volunteer recognition. Frank will be doing some special recognition for the behind the scenes folks. Chris will be doing the Autodesk wish list. We have our Jessica Langston from Autodesk as another guest presenter. I will be presenting on the AUGI World of Podcast updates. Shelby will be talking about how to get involved for those of you who like to get involved more. I'll be giving a recap of AugiCon 24 and doing a looking ahead of 2025. And then Katie King will be leading our Q&A section. And then I will do a motion to adjourn the meeting.
All right, sounds like I'm up. I will do my best to keep this short and sweet, just like our first presenter. Kimberly Furman Jones is here for us today to introduce our meeting. She's the Revit Community Manager at Autodesk, and more importantly to us, a former president here at AUGI. So, as I promised, short and sweet, I give you Kimberly Furman Jones. Kim, take it away.
Thanks, Frank. We really prefer like vertically challenged, but we'll take the sweet
I was
part.
going for the sweet part.
There you go. Thanks. Well, hello, Augie members. Man, it is great to be back with you today. I feel like, this is coming back to family for the holidays, and it's great to see everyone. I'm honored to be introducing this year's Augie Annual General Meeting. I knew that was going to be a tongue twister. Augie has been such a huge part of my career. I've been thinking back to when I was first introduced to Augie, and that was way back in the last century, somewhere around 1998. And a coworker of mine actually introduced me to the Augie forums. And at that time, it was the forums, the wish list, and so forth. And I got on to find more information on, believe it or not, land development desktop. So really dating myself. That was in the area. Yeah, I was in the civil field at the time. I call it the dark side. Um, Shout out to my civil peeps. But yeah, Augie became a great resource for me to find information and to connect with people across the industry. And then fast forward a few years, around 2014, I was looking to make a change in my career. I didn't, but I did find myself as the Revit structure content manager for Augie World. Thanks, David Harrington. And, from there, I was elected to the board of directors in 2016, served as the secretary and eventually as president. And, I really give credit to Augie for just kind of being like that not so silent partner in growing my career, um, and walking beside me the whole way. So really in 2020 during the pandemic, my dreams came true, and I actually took a role with Autodesk. Um, and so with that and some other life changes that I made, I had to step down from the board just a few years ago, or I should say life changes that happened to me. I didn't really ask for them. But I can honestly say I'm still living the dream, still loving working for Autodesk and connecting our customers, most importantly with our product teams. But the Augie community really, like I said, is like family. Although I think in this group we have a couple of those weird uncles from what I'm hearing today. So, but it's all good, all fun. But the learning content, the networking, people around the globe, that's what makes Augie so successful. The forums, Augie World, now podcasts and AuggieCon, these are all great resources for information, for learning, for networking. And I still reference there's an Augie World article that was written, I can't remember the year, but I'm pretty sure David Harrington wrote it, and it was about Revit line weights. And I used that article for years in consulting and working with architects. That was gold. And so, the information that you guys have out there is so valuable and so very helpful. And I just, I hope everybody finds those Augie resources. I want to give a shout out to Jason. I know he's on the call today, and also to Jordan for their articles in this month's Augie World magazine. Fantastic recap of AU and the AECO industry. And Jason always has great articles in Revit, so I definitely appreciate those. But I'm going to probably steal some of the board's thunder and say, Augie is entirely run by volunteers. So thank you to everyone who sets aside time every month to keep this community active. And if you haven't written an article for Augie World, what are you waiting for? It is so easy, and you all have knowledge to share. And so the Augie World is a great way for you to share that information that you have stored up here. So reach out to Todd, reach out to one of the board members. They'd be happy to help get you set up. Um, so once again, I want to say thank you to Augie, to the board, for having me introduce the AGM this year. Happy holidays to everyone, and thank you for being an active part of the Augie community. So at this time, I think I'm going to turn it over to Frank.
I believe you're correct. Kim, thank you so much. It is to the rest of our members that are here today, you don't understand what a thrill it is to have Kim back. And she's, the one thing she said about it being family is exactly right. I'll always consider Kim to be part of my family along with the rest of the board members. So I am tasked with doing some introductions here. If I could have the new slide, please. First off the bat is our executive director, David Harrington. David is based down in Tampa, Florida, and he takes care of all of our business needs. Keep in mind, we are a incorporated entity, and so our business things on the back end, and David takes care of that. And off to the board itself, you probably know most of us. We'll start with our president, Eric De Leon. Myself, I'm the vice president. Todd Rogers is the treasurer and the editor-in-chief for Augie World magazine. The secretary is Christina Youngblood. Rounding out the board, Chris Lindner, Scott Wilcox, who unfortunately can't be here today. He's traveling for business, and Katie King. And there's a couple of blank spots here. We have an advisory board, and currently that is manned by Shelby Smith. When we began this advisory board, it was a two-person board, and the other person was Sean Hurley. Sean served with us for a year and came to the decision that it would be better for him to serve in other capacities other than a formal position. And Sean's been a long time supporter of Augie and will continue to be so. And I know that if we ever needed anything at all from Sean, all we have to do is ask. But that left an open spot. So the Augie board being the Augie board, we decided to fill it with two spots. And we had an election. We had some names bandied about. And it's my huge honor to introduce these new members of the advisory board for you here today. The first is Gil Cordell. Gil, I know you're on the call. I see a lot of little clapping out there in the gallery. Congratulations. We're looking forward to working with you. We're all very excited about that. Which brings up our second new member, Rena Sahe. Yay, Rena. I have not seen her in the gallery. If somebody knows that Rena's here, Rena, if you are, feel free to open up your mic and say hello, because I have not seen you pop in today.
She's on vacation.
Oh, is she really? Well,
Yeah.
how nice. So Rena and Gil are our new advisory board members. We do plan on adding a couple more later in the year, so stay tuned for that. The advisory board members have all the powers of a regular board member except for the vote. When it comes to voting for things, they're out of luck. But it's more than just sitting there going, well, it's our advice that you do this and that. No, they're an active member of the meetings every month, and we don't necessarily need to solicit their opinions because I know that they will forward them to us as they think of things. So did I have another slide or not? No, I don't. With that, I'm tossing it off to Todd Rogers, our treasurer. Todd?
Thank you, Frank. Appreciate it. Hello, everybody. Thanks for joining us. As you know, we are a totally transparent entity. People wonder where we get our money and where does our money go to. So our income, you can see the bulk of that is from advertising and revenue share. Memberships, of course, play a big part. We'd like that to be a bigger number, but it is what it is. So we'll shoot for that. We also have sponsorships. So that plays a big part in this as well. So where does all of this money go to? As you can see, we our operations, our publications, and the big bulk of that is our sales team. We got to pay them for bringing in this money. We also have web initiatives. So we have a guy that plays in the background with our website and all of the forum stuff. I think the forums are kind of dead, as most of y'all know. That it's why we're moving all that over to the new platform in the AUGI community. So with that, I'll jump to the next. So AUGI World Year in Review. We've had a lot of new authors this year, and we thank you for that. We still need content managers. What is a content manager? Content manager doesn't necessarily have to write the articles. Poor Sean Herring is, he and Jason Pekovich, these guys, struggle to find people, so they just write one and throw it out there themselves. I get it, when I was writing articles at one time, it's hard to squeeze that time in. But as a content manager, you're basically, searching for someone to write an article for you based on that content. For example, we need a Bentley, we need visualization, we need one for AutoCAD, we need one for an Inventor, Bluebeam, or whatever you can think of. If it's SolidWorks, bring it on, man. Whatever. Reach out to people and if you want to be a content manager, let me know. Some of these content managers were new a little over a year ago, so we didn't have really any new ones this year per se, but Rena did start doing the inside track. Rena does need some help. When she initially started doing it, it was going to be her and another person that, switched off every other month. So she needs a little help with that. Jason Pekovich is our Revit MEP content manager. Jonathan Massaro is our Revit architecture content manager. Mark Barons, our electrical, and Craig Swearingen for BricsCAD. And with that, I'll hand it over. Christina.
All right, thank you. I apologize if I have to cough, guys. I'm sick. I'm trying to get through, but I am going to acknowledge our volunteers and our partners. So if we can, perfect, wonderful. So we have a lot of volunteers that help support AUGI and help us run the company, write articles, post on our forums and on our community. So thank you, everybody, for all of your help and all of your support. We really could not do this without everybody who is involved, everybody who supports us, because this is a community-driven company. And, if it wasn't for you guys, we wouldn't be here today. So we really appreciate everybody's hard work over the last year. And thank you very much. I am not going to name all these names. That is too many to go through. And I would probably butcher half of them. So again, we really appreciate all of your support. And if there's anybody who would like to contribute or work with us for 2025, please reach out and maybe you will see your name on here at the next AGM. All right, next slide. And a big call out to our partners. These people provide us with a financial benefit, which they do get advertising and stuff like that, but that allows us to pay for printing and, advertising and other things that we need. So we really appreciate your support and your continued connection with AUGI. And thank you very much to Dell, Imaginate, Bentley, Robert. I'm probably not saying that right. Todd, you can help me. Ascent and Design Master Software. So thank you guys very much. And if there's any, Greibert, thank you. And if there's anybody who would ever be interested in advertising with AUGI, please reach out to us. It doesn't have to be a company like this. Maybe you want to advertise your podcast or a article or something that you've written yourself, or a magazine that you have yourself, whatever it is. Please reach out. The partnership is available and advertising is available to anybody. So thank you very much.
Looks like I'm on again. Hi. Christina said that she was under the weather. I am as well. I think half the board is not feeling well in some way. So I did have a backup for my section here. So in case I need to call in my backup, be ready for it. But I'm going to give it the old college try here. So typically in an AGM, we'll have the previous slides, our the people we work with. And keep in mind, especially if you go way back with AUGI, we're a volunteer organization. We have volunteers that do all kinds of things, and as we saw, including writing articles and you name it. It's just been a volunteer organization forever. But usually we don't talk about some of the other people that are behind the scenes, and we do have some paid staff that do certain things. Some others that you're going to see here that aren't, but these people don't usually get recognized here at the AGM. Of course, I've already introduced you to David Harrington. David's the executive director and takes care of, he's the top of the pecking order for all of our business needs. We have an accountant, which her name is Sadie Abrams. The data manager is Mike Perry, and you interact with Mike all the time because he's the one that sends out hot news, bulletins, you name it, things like that. Our website needs a manager, and that's Chad Crowell. I handle the social media campaigns. A longtime volunteer is Ed Job, and Ed is currently, in addition to being recently retired, and congratulations on that, Ed, but you still have your jobs as the forum administrator and the new membership manager here at AUGI, and we hope you'll stay with us for a long time. Nancy Tanner and Kevin Merritt handle our marketing and advertising. Couldn't do much of anything business-wise without them. And then on the AUGI World side, again, we've introduced you to Todd Rogers as the editor-in-chief. The copy editor is Miranda Anderson. She is new to the organization, and we're looking forward to working with her, and I know Todd is. The layout editing is a split job between Tim Varno and Debbie Gwaltney. So these people don't always get the recognition they deserve. They're in the background. They're the ones that make the magazine look good. They're the ones that make sure the website works. You get funny memes on the internet or whatever the case might be. There's really no way we could be the AUGI ink without them. They put the ink in AUGI. And that should be the next slide for me. From there, I'm going to give you Chris Linder to talk about the wish list. Chris, it's all yours.
I am now unmuted. Thank you, Frank. Welcome, everybody. As has been said or implied, AUGI's intent is users helping users. That's kind of one of our catchphrases. And a lot of the helping users comes from direct engagement, whether it's in the forums that Todd so eloquently said was dead, but interacting through the forums, through the mobile app that we have now. So that's kind of direct users helping users, but there's also indirect users helping users, and that's through volunteer activity, writing articles, the podcast, those kind of things. But also with that is the wish list. Now, generally people submit a wish because it's going to help them. They feel some pain, they have an idea, And it's like, I want this to be a new feature in a product. But indirectly, it's another form of users helping users, because if that happens to be a wish that gets granted in the product, then it is helping other users. So let's take a quick look at the top 10 wishes for this year that have been selected through the wish list system as having some merit. So number 10 on the list is the wish to have a circle to polyline tool. Now, I found this interesting because when I did some research on this wish, each wish has a forum thread associated with it. So what you'll inevitably find is when you look at wishes, there's some dialogue that can go along behind the scenes about that wish. And sometimes that's people saying, oh, there's a way to do that, or there is a command to do that, or that's a great idea, and this is another thing that would be good to add to that. So all this stuff, and this particular wish was that way. There was a bunch of hacks that were suggested, commands that may not be frequently known. There was even some third-party software that was suggested, and some free Autolisp code that would do just that. So this is a perfect example of a wish that, in the meantime, while we wait for it to be part of AutoCAD, if it would be selected, our users helping users have suggested ways that they can actually work in the interim until that wish gets granted. All right, let's move on. The next one is 3D dynamic blocks. The idea that someone would like to have 3D functionality within dynamic properties, which is kind of a cool idea. All right, next one is the ability to rejoin individual hatches into a single hatch. That's an interesting option. Next one on the list is having the selection window be parallel to the current UCS instead of always parallel to the screen. Cool idea if you work with do any 3D work, especially when you're selecting stuff. Sometimes it would be nice to have that selection window aligned with the coordinate system. All right, the next one is about performance. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm jumping ahead. Dynamic blocks and multi-leaders. Man, this will be a really nice thing. If you're a dynamic block person and you create them for annotation, they don't work well when you dump them inside of a multi-leader style. It's unfortunate. They kind of lose all their dynamic capabilities. And so what you end up doing is creating multiple multi-leader styles to accommodate that. That would be a really nice feature to see happen. Number 5 is restored performance. In the top 20 list, there's a number of them that are performance related, and that's not surprising. AutoCAD can never be too fast, but it can certainly be too slow at times, right? All right, let's go to the next one. The next one is a way to list blocks and their properties. You can think of this as like an XREF manager, a block manager similar to an XREF manager, where you can search for blocks, you can change block properties, maybe the units, or you can rename blocks and see previews. It's kind of a one-stop shop tool for blocks, which would be a really cool thing. All right, let's jump on to the next one. OSNAP property or priorities. That's kind of interesting. If you have multiple object snaps running, which a lot of us do, having the ability to say this snap should take priority over another snap is kind of cool. Number 2 on the list was AutoCAD needs help. Now, Autodesk has done some cool stuff with AI recently. In the last couple of years, they've done their Autodesk Assistant that is supposed to be able to give you, kind of take real language questions and provide answers accordingly. So they're making steps with that, and we hope to see that continue. And then the last one on the list, drum roll please, is having the ability to do floating paper space layouts. That would be a really neat idea as well. We can do the floating drawing canvas now, but the ability to have the model space layout and a paper space layout at the same time, and see the changes that I make in model space show up in the paper space layout. It will be a super cool idea. So anyway, does this all make a difference? I guess the question is, okay, this is great. We're going to give this list to Autodesk and they're going to look at it. Does it make a difference? Well, I think one thing I was encouraged to hear that some of the board members at Autodesk University were approached by Autodesk staff and talked about the wish list, talked about the value of the wish list, talked about the future of the wish list. So that's encouraging to hear. The second thing that I would state to give credibility to this wish list is that as of right now, we have over 500 wishes from the AUGI wish list that have been incorporated into Autodesk products, not just AutoCAD. But so Autodesk does listen. And go ahead and go to the next slide there, Eric. And these are the ways that you can get involved. Obviously, it all starts with a wish. It all starts with a pain point or an idea and throwing that out there. And then the next step is where we broaden that to all of the community and say, get involved and let us know which of those wishes make sense, which ones have value, which ones you would put money on. And then, like I said initially, get involved in the thread that's related to a particular wish. If you read about a wish and you go, oh, I know how to do that, or I know there's a tool to do that, that's where that users helping users continues to grow. And then lastly is the wish list is obviously a big system, and vetting wishes and making sure that people aren't suggesting things that have already been in the product, whatever. So anything that you guys, if you're interested in volunteering with that and helping us curate that and make that more valuable, not only to our users, but to Autodesk in general, we'd love to have you involved. So one last thing, if you're interested in more about the wish list and how it works, there is a article that was written in AUGI World back in 2018. I'll put a link to it in the chat. If you want to read about that and find out more about the wish list and how it works, you can find that information there. So, all right. Thanks, Eric.
All righty.
Is my turn?
Almost. I would like to introduce to you our other guest speaker. Jessica Langston is an experienced community strategist and builder with over 12 years of expertise. In May of 2024, she joined Autodesk as a senior director of community. Prior to this role, Jessica led the Trailblazer community team at Salesforce, where she was responsible for the engagement and operations of Salesforce community programs, including the Salesforce MVP program, Trailblazer Community Groups program, community-led conferences, and the online Trailblazer community. Jessica resides in Walnut Creek, California, where she enjoys spending her free time with her partner, 2 sons, and their French bulldog, Olive. I'd like to introduce Jessica. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Eric. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen if that's okay. I'll send a request.
Let me stop sharing mine.
Thank you. Okay, we'll get it up pretty quickly here. All right. Well, thank you so much. Hello, everyone, and happy holidays. I really can't believe it's December already, and this year just flew by. And it's always a really busy time of year, but also the season for reflection and celebration. So today I came prepared to do a little lightning talk on celebrating the power of community and the ability that it has to lead transformation. So I always want to start off with just some gratitude, and thank you, Eric. Thank you to the AUGI board for inviting me to be here. I couldn't be more excited. Thank you to the members who are joining and listening in today. It's so great to be part of the general meeting. And I'll say in my first 6 months at Autodesk, I was really excited just to dive in and learn about the Autodesk community and the vibrant ecosystem that surrounds it. And just how mature and developed it is. I've been so impressed. And what I can tell you so far is I'm so excited to continue this journey. I've seen so much passion in this community, experience and knowledge. And I just love this part of my job, which is seeing how people come together and help each other. So I'm going to talk a little bit more about that today. But before I do, since I'm the newbie here, I thought I would kind of just expand on what Eric did in his intro to talk a little bit about who I am, my personal journey, and what brought me here to Autodesk. So as he said, I joined in May. So it's been about 6 or 7 months now. So just starting to really kind of turn a corner and feeling like I've planted my feet a little bit. I'm getting more oriented. But it's been really an exciting journey to this point. I really have a passion for community. I've really built my whole career around this, just out of pure passion. It's something I kind of stumbled into, and the more I leaned in, the more I loved it. So I started my work in community when I was at Salesforce. I joined there to work in developer relations, and developer community is kind of where I got my start. And it was really when I traveled overseas and I saw user groups that were meeting across the world to talk about technology that we were producing. I just thought it was such a magical thing. And seeing how people come together to help each other, I thought there was something really special about it. So I really pivoted my whole career towards community, and I haven't really looked back since. Um, I live in the Bay Area. I've grown up here in San Francisco Bay my whole life, and I'll probably stay here till I die. So I love it here. And there's just like so many ways to just have fun. And I feel pretty lucky to be at the heart of it. So I'm a mom of two boys, ages 4 and 8. They keep me quite busy running around. But when I do have some time to myself, so my personal interests are design. I started my career back with graphic design and kind of led me into marketing and so forth, but I still love it. And I also love interior design. So I definitely have a appreciation for a lot of the work that we do with Autodesk technology, and just seeing what you all create. It's very inspiring. And I love that I get to work a little bit more closely to the design world. I have a passion for music, usually older music. I'm not really hip on the new stuff because I tend to lean into old music, and I collect vinyls, especially original presses. So that's something I do and probably spend a little bit too much money on. But okay, my husband doesn't know. And then I love the outdoors. I just love to get away from technology and devices and kind of reconnect with nature whenever possible. So whether that's gardening, hiking, just whatever that is, or whatever kind of suits the season, I am definitely an outdoorsy person. And then I also love to teach community. So, much like you all participate in your community and help each other, there is a very meta community of community managers that meets, and I'm definitely involved in that community industry. And when I have the time, I love to go and teach and speak on topics and talk a lot about how we can lead in that space. So that's just a little bit about me. So obviously I have a passion for community, and in its simplest form, community is described as a group of people that share something in common. That commonality might look different, whether it comes in a form of a location, think about like your neighborhood or your city or state. It could be an affinity towards a sports team or a shared hobby that you have, or it could be professional, right? Centered around a product or an industry that you're a part of. But community is more than just connection. It's really about feeling a part of being something bigger than yourself, a shared purpose, and having a shared value. It's about giving back and genuinely helping and caring for others to make sure that they succeed. And studies show that there's a healthy link between being a part of a supportive community and a lower rate of loneliness. And there's 3 aspects of community that are pretty important for good mental health, including a sense of belonging, feeling supported, and also having a role to play or a purpose. So community is not only good for our mental health, but it can also be an incredible driver for creating positive change. And in my experience working in community, I've seen firsthand how powerful community collaborations can be. And innovation really doesn't happen in isolation. It emerges through collaborative environments, bringing people together from a range of diverse backgrounds and experiences to create an environment where ideas can cross-pollinate and increase even bigger leaps in innovation. So it's kind of like that similar, the famous proverb you might have heard where it says, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. So that's kind of how I think about community. It's just much more powerful when you collaborate. And innovation thrives when people come together. So we see that with AUGI, obviously, as a great example of this, how a community that continues to drive and spring innovation. Just this year alone, you celebrated the launch of AUGI, which I think is just incredible. And congratulations. And of course, the launch of the new AUGI community. So just, round of applause that you guys continue to push the envelope. And I've been so impressed by things that I've seen coming out of this community. And AUGI, I see as an integral part of the larger Autodesk ecosystem and a great example of the power that community can have. So communities within the ecosystem are at the forefront of the industry, and you're able to recognize and see the gaps and the opportunities faster than anyone else, right? You're able to drive innovation and help unlock exponential growth opportunities for long-term success. And in order to support community-led success, there are 3 pillars that I also anchor to that help support the collective innovation that we talked about earlier. First is trust, making sure there's shared vision and mutual respect that allows for open communication and innovation. Adaptability, again, that ability to quickly evolve and respond to change as you see it. And collaboration, bringing together diverse groups, working together and sharing ideas and resources. So to wrap things up, in conclusion, I think the future of innovation is community-driven. Empowering communities to lead transformation will help us support and grow our industry, accelerate innovation, and achieve more together. So if we can just imagine what we could achieve when we embrace the potential of diverse ecosystems and communities, by leading with trust, sharing ideas, and co-creating solutions, we're not just driving innovation, we're shaping the future. So congratulations on all your accomplishments this year. I just want to leave with a thank you, and thanks for having me here. And happy holidays, everyone.
Thank you, Jessica. Really appreciate that. Sharing my screen again. You guys see my screen okay? Augie World, the podcast. So Augie World, the podcast is on all the major platforms. But Spotify and Apple seems to be the most popular out of it. What I was trying to think of here. So as a great platform that we are, we did have some challenges, right? And I think collectively with AugiCon and some other things going on, we didn't take advantage of this platform as much as we should be. And so what that's saying is last year was our second year of having the podcast, and I want to give props to Paul Lee and Craig Swearingen. These guys faithfully created, we call them the Augie World magazine episodes, where they read their articles, and these guys did a fantastic job of just consistently providing us an audio version of their Augie World magazine article. So thank you to Paul and Craig for all of your contributions this year when it came to the podcast. I really appreciate that. With that said, we are looking for more guests and more contributors. Again, this stuff doesn't happen obviously by itself. So a couple things, right? One is we have a email address, awpodcast@augie.com. If you'd like to be a guest, please feel free to reach. That one comes directly to me, I believe. Maybe somebody else, but I do get those emails. So if you want to be a guest, we could definitely, Kim and I have been trying it was right before her wedding and then vacations, and then it was crazy. Kim is slated to be a guest, and others who want to be a part, and just do a regular, one-on-one or one-on-many interview. We can figure something out. Also, if you are a Augie World magazine author, please feel free to record, just read your article. It's an easy way just to be able to, I think Craig did that on behalf of a couple of the articles that he did, where it was done by a couple of his team members. And Craig actually read those on their behalf. So again, we're looking for some more help. So again, authors, feel free to do an audio version of your article. And those interested in wanting to be a guest, please feel free to email awpodcast@augie.com. Shelby.
Thanks, Eric. I am happy to present to you ways that you can get involved with AUGI. As we stated before, AUGI is run by volunteers, and so we're always looking for our members to find ways to get involved with us. As Eric stated, you can become a podcast guest and reach out with that email if you want to be included in the AUGI World podcast. Have you ever dreamt of becoming an author? You can emerge from the shadows and write your article sharing your knowledge with the greater AUGI community. If you want, you can also become a content manager, and you can reach out to Todd and the AUGI World team in order to find ways to be involved there. If you want to just stay in the background a little bit more and ease into the AUGI community, you can share the AUGI posts on social media or participate in the AUGI community, including the Mighty Networks. We need general volunteers, and if you have other ideas of ways to get involved, please email us at getinvolved@augi.com.
All right. Well, I'm going to give you guys a recap of AugiCon 24. Again, let me tell you, we are just, as we go through the evolution of advancing, kind of like Jessica says, the innovation is going to be community led. And I really think that with the users helping users really gave us the ability to just be excited about getting AugiCon going. It was a lot. It's amazing. I'm going to tell you, it was like was it 10 of us, 10 of us board members, the board of directors, along with advisory board. Man, it was a feat that we are very extremely proud of. And so let me go through some numbers. So first event, right? We had 1,005 total registrations. 41 countries are represented. I think our peak viewership, I was watching it over the 2 days. I think at one time we had about 350 people watching. And then during those peaks, I think some people had of course, the Lynn Allen doing the introduction and things like that. And so we averaged about 200 people throughout all the rest of the conference. Now, one of the highlights I would like to say was the conference lounge. I think so for those who didn't attend AugiCon, so we wanted to be able to give you an experience just like you are like when you go to those other conferences. And you go to a class and then you leave. Well, it's kind of, what do you do in a virtual setting? So that's where we created a separate Zoom account for a lounge, allowing the presenters to go in there after their presentation to just to continue the discussions, since we had a block time of an hour or so, but I know a lot of people wanted to ask more questions. So that was our way to be able to do a deep dive. And I think Gil was like, he just hung out there all day, right? And things like that. So Gil was like one of the resident people. And of course, he popped into other ones, but I think when he wasn't in a session, he was literally in the lounge the whole conference, which appreciate that. But anyway, yeah, so great event. We had some great, out of the box, we had some great presenters. And again, I know for a lot of us, when you think of AUGI, you really do really truly think of Autodesk, which is, a lot of our connections, like with Kim and Jessica being here, go really deep with them and the product teams and everything like that. But just remember, for those here who are also experts with other softwares, AugiCon gives us that ability for our users to helping users, along with Bentley and Bluebeam and SolidWorks and anything else that we use that's in our toolbox every day, right? And so if you feel compelled for that, just kind of keep an eye out for that as we look for opportunities there. So looking ahead, what do we have planned? So one of the big things is we have, of course, is as a member, one of your perks is to be a member of the AUGI community. And so with this, again, it's giving me the ability to have that conversation a little bit different in a forum setting, and the ability to go in and interact, and all that kind of stuff. And also it's mobile friendly. We do have it via an app. Um, but one of the things that we are looking forward to in this coming year is growing it, right? We have uh, right under 400 members currently signed up, which is pretty good. Obviously, there's some active discussions going on, but we're looking for some help. So what I want to say is, again, anything within just general, if you look here on the left, we have, CAD management, geospatial, manufacturing, programming, um, AutoCAD, Bentley, SolidWorks, Bluebeam. I think VrisCAD's on there as well, of course. And so feel free to dive in, but we're needing some moderators. And those are folks who are experts in those, in the different categories they have. We didn't open up to everything. So if you're a member and you go into Augie community, you're like, hey, Eric, you're missing this software. Well, let me know. We'll get it added. If you also want to be a moderator to help further discussions, drop in questions, answer people, drop questions in, answer other questions from other members, put up a poll and liking stuff and things like that. We could really appreciate it because, again, users helping users, right? And we really need your help to be able to just we have a vision for this, and I know we're in the very early stages of it. It's only been out for a year, but we're very excited of where this can lead to. And likewise, like we did for AugiCon, this platform gives us the ability we have all the AugiCon 24 replays in there as well. So, we have some cool stuff in there. So if you haven't gone there, please go in there. Again, it's gated. So you do have to sign up with the email that you use for your Augie membership. That's the only way that we do have a tool. Thank you, David Harrington and his team, that allows us to validate when you sign up, because people do find it. It's gated, but it's not private. So people can find you. And, Frank's probably been the main guy going in there and approving memberships. And we probably get a lot of spammers, people just like, oh, what's this? We're trying to keep this purely Augie members. And so if you're here, you're here probably watching, you're probably an Augie member, but if you're not, you signed up anyway. Just know that that's the reason why Augie membership is free. Go to augie.com. We have a membership join, a button at the top of the webpage for you to join. And so again, really looking forward to adding more content and expanding on the community. Again, 2024, 2025, really want to grow the podcast. So opportunity for Kim, for Jessica, and all you others that are in here. Let me tell you, you have a story to tell. And we would love to be the platform to be able to get your expertise out. So that way we can learn. Again, for those who follow me, I say these all the time. We walk in similar shoes, but just some of our journeys are a little bit different. And with that, is any of us can definitely learn from one another. So whether or not you are a few steps ahead of somebody, right next to them, or somebody's behind you, it's a good opportunity to be able to just get your expertise out into the world and to help others. And AugiCon 25, we're excited to let you guys know that it is coming. Probably the same time. We haven't come up with the date yet. The board and all of us are getting together to look at all of our schedules, but we are shooting for similar, probably the April-ish timeframe. But stay tuned at the beginning of the year for that announcement. With that said, we are going to be putting a little bit of a theme around it. It's going to be more about design and innovation, and things that kind of go with, I'll leave that to your imagination for right now. But we will be sending, if you're an Augie member, we will be doing an email blast on Monday. So look at your inbox. Please look at your spam. For some reason, it goes to spam. But we will be doing a call for proposals and things like that. So stay tuned. Again, for those who, feel free to offer it up and give us your best proposal ideas, and then we will come probably within by the end of January or as soon as possible. Give those folks who submitted a proposal, let them know if they've been approved or not. So excited about it. And what else? We have a couple of ideas. I don't want to lay anything out there because we got to really, I'm excited by having more bandwidth. We have more people joining Gil and Rena and others, and we can help because we have some old, I'll put this out there like this. We do have some old legacy AUGI type of things that we used to do. And if we can get the right kind of sponsorships, get the right kind of people to help us, I think we would like to unearth some of that. So if you're a long member, you maybe have some ideas, but we'll let you guys know as soon as we get some of that stuff figured out. So stay tuned.
All right. We want to welcome everyone to post any questions you might have in chat, or if you'd like to ask the question live, you're also welcome to do a little raise hand and I'll call on you if you have a question. But is there anyone who has any questions? We'll go ahead and open up for questions. What is the AUGI app called? It is on a community called Mighty Networks. And we have there's a link on our website. But Eric, do we have the link? Oh, it's in the chat right there. Frank just put it in there.
Yeah.
So you can get the link to that right above your question, Adam. But it's on a community called Mighty Networks, and then it's the AUGI network underneath Mighty Networks.
AUGI community.
Just jump in here real quick. One of the problems sometimes we have is that people, members move from place to place and use different emails. And so we check the email that's that you sign up with versus the one that's in your AUGI account. That's how we know whether you're a member or not. And sometimes we have to say, nope, sorry, it doesn't match. And so go out to your AUGI account first, verify what your email is it's associated with your account, and use that when you're signing up for the community.
Thank you, Frank. Other questions? What is the date of AUGICon 2025? We are looking at dates right now. We are shooting for the end of April. We will post or advertise that date soon.
Hey, I just got notification that Mark Perry wants to join us in community. Thanks, Mark.
And I just, I've been chatting with Steve Bennett on the side, and Eric, he mentioned that it might be a good idea to ask all the forum moderators who are currently there to just jump in as moderators in the app too.
Fantastic. That's a good idea.
I think
we already had somebody. I think we had somebody make that jump over as well already. So
yeah,
I agree.
And anybody who would like to become a forum moderator, please reach out to us. And if that site is not available on the community, that we can create that one for you. And it is not restricted to Autodesk software. It is anything related to the AECO industry.
All right. Unless I see any more come in, I think we have resolved all the questions.
I think so. Corey had a question. A prerequisites of being a part of the podcast. No, I mean obviously you're AUGI member, so but no, just being an industry expert. Again, very similar to probably the other podcasts that either you've been on or that you've heard of. Is just asking, just getting your story out there and things like that. So Corey, you're more than qualified to be a guest of that podcast as well.
Gil is already proving his value as an advisor because he did say that they needed a microphone.
This is true. They do need a microphone.
Good job, Gil.
Thank you for advising.
That's right.
All right. Well, listen, it looks like we're at the top of the hour. This is actually amazing. We did actually stuck on schedule here. So real quick before sorry. Before we adjourn here, I just want to say thank you everybody for being here today. We're truly blessed to I could speak on behalf of the whole board. You know, we are very passionate about AUGI, and we're very passionate about the industry, and which means we're passionate about you. So again, we're all volunteers. We do this, you know, board of directors, then the advisory board aren't paid. We're here, we're volunteers, and we just have a deep passion of continuing to push the industry forward. And with that is, I think by you being an AUGI member, you are also signing up to be a part of this tribe. So thank you. Couldn't do any of this without you, because again, we're all volunteers. So really appreciate the time you take away from, you know, your families and things like that. I mean, we do value you and value your time. So, and again, we're looking for more help. I can't say that enough, I know. But thank you. Kim, Jessica, thank you for taking your time out of today to be a part of this. Really appreciate that. And again, Monday, the email will go out for call for proposals for AugiCon 25, and look out for early January for AugiCon 25 dates. So with that said,
And I submit a motion to adjourn.
yep. Can I get a motion to adjourn the annual general meeting?
Motion to adjourn.
And I second.
All right, everybody.
Thanks, everyone.
Have a good day. Thank you.
Thank
Take
you.
care.
Wonderful.
Happy
Thank you,
holidays.
everyone.
Merry Christmas.